Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be watching this. So, it snowed where I live today. What is it, like April 16th, April 18th? It's still snowing, like 4 inches. If it wasn't so beautiful, I might be bummed. But it reminds me of that Zen proverb that I find so adorable and eloquent that says, "No snowflake lands in the wrong place." So things happen as they should happen. Things are happening as they should be happening. But that doesn't mean that we don't shovel our driveways or we don't make snowmen or snowballs or whatever the case. Like, we do the best with what we have and let go of the outcome. So that reminds me of another Zen proverb, that there is no attainment. There's no attainment. There's nothing to have in this life. I mean, there's all sorts of things we grasp and cling to, but they're not ours. We can't take them with us. They don't really define us, although the society that we've cultivated can trick us into thinking that. So I'm holding these two invitations for inquiry in my heart, mind today. No snowflake lands in the wrong place, and there is no attainment. So really it's like we could map that onto the yogic concepts of practice and non-attachment, right? We do the best with what we got and we let go of the results. So let's try. For our physical practice this morning, you're going to need 2 blocks, probably, 2 blocks for sure, and a belt maybe, and a blanket. So let's start by putting 1 block on its flat side. So just to clarify, like, I'll call this flat side or maybe shortest side. And I'll call this second side or maybe medium height. And then tall side. So put 1 block on its flat side and put your blanket over it so there's just a little cush. Whoops. And then come to sit in like a Baddha Konasana shape. So I like the little cush under my sit bones on the block, and I also like the little bit of cushion under my outer feet on the floor. Your feet don't have to be pulled right in. Your feet can be further from you, but close enough that you feel a tug here in the inner thighs. And then if this act of sitting with knees wide, feet together, sort of shoves your lumbar spine back, you're sort of struggling to sit up, you could take your belt and loop it around the back of the pelvis, over the thighs, over the groins, and then put the other end of the loop around your outer feet. Important that the back, where the belt catches you in the back, is your pelvis, not your lumbar. So it'll pull the back rim of your pelvis forward. Use the belt or don't, but please sit up straight. We're going to start with a little pranayama. So simply landing, feeling the perch of your 2 sit bones, which is maybe a little narrower than usual because your legs are turned out. And that'll kick the sit bones more to the middle. Sit bones follow the heel bones. Heels are together in the middle. And as you inhale, let the inhale run down the inner ribs like rain, the way a downspout channels water. So work on bringing up the inhale just now. So sliding the filling action of the inhale along the inner surface of the ribs and let it gather and collect at the base of the lungs. And follow it all the way out. And in the out breath, you can envision, like the downspout, the water continuing to pour down and out pelvic floor. So just washing the inhales down and the exhales down. You can add the slightest little tuck of the chin, and it's more like lifting the tonsils or elevating the back of the ears, so it creates a little bit of a blockade for the pressure to move up into the head. So check that out. Inhaling increases the pressure in the body. Air pressure expansion in the ribs, lungs, and not letting it shoot up into the head is ideal. You could release the chin tuck on the exhales or keep it. And try to tease the edge of fullness. So linger at the top, flirting with more breath at the top. Likewise on the exhale, linger in the emptying, in the emptiness. And as you're doing this, moving breath in and down and out and down, trying to expand the inhalation capacity and lengthen the exhalation capacity. As you do this, if you can notice which nostril is more open, conversely, which nostril is less open, I invite you to close the more open nostril or partially close it to try to generate more of a balanced flow between the two. So breathing in and out of the less open nostril. And so maybe you sustain that for 3 or 5 or 8 breaths. Feeling for the aperture of that nadi, that nostril to open, and then maybe check back in with the symmetry of the flow of both nasal passages. And if they feel more balanced, then stay with that. If they feel balanced enough, stay with that. Or if there's still considerably a lot of contrast between the two, stay with the single nostril breath. And then the next stage to this would be to hold the inhale at the top. So you fill. Hold the inhale, get that little throat lock to contain pressure built from building in the cranium. Lift the navel, lift the pelvic floor on the full inhale retention, baya kumbhaka they call it. And then when you exhale all the way to empty, if you've got the capacity to hold the breath out, and then strong Uddiyana Bandha, where you keep the throat lock, you keep the root lock, and then really lift the abdominal wall, almost like you're trying to inhale, like a mock inhale. You have to release the abdominal viscera before you breathe in again. So maybe 1 or 2 or 3 more rounds, depends on how fast you're going. And the indicators for stopping, for relaxing, are like extreme elevated heart rate, or pressure in the brain, or heat in the brain, heat in the eyes. If you're getting winded, don't muck around with your pranic body if it's feeling agitated. Pacify. When you're ready, release the breath work. Release the belt from around your hips and feet if you were using one. Use your hands to gather up your knees and invite the river of the inner thighs to really pour into the pelvic belly. And maybe hug knees, wrapping arms, and tuck head onto kneecaps. Just pause for a second. I'm going to try to keep practice to 90 minutes today. We'll see if I can do it. Then move the block out from under the blanket. It's already unfolded nicely. Lay it on one half of your mat with the fringe towards the end. And then lay your body on it. And then from here, have the two blocks on the outer legs. So Supta Baddha Konasana now, soles of the feet together. And I like to use the outer legs, and this is the outer legs, but more towards the knee is what I mean. Not tucked in by the hips, but out towards the knee. And you might need to be on the second side, depending on how close your knees get to the floor. And if you had the blocks flat on the floor, there's like this edge of the block that sort of cuts into the legs. That's fine. It's not my preference. I like to actually angle the blocks. So now the edge is cutting into the floor and my legs are on a flat surface. And from here, keeping the sacrum heavy, what would it be like to simply invite a reaching of the inner knees? Lengthening the inner legs. So what I feel is a significant gathering in the outer hips. So it's not arbitrarily pressing the legs out into the blocks. It's much subtler than that. If you can invite the inner thighs, inner knees to continue to lengthen down and out, following the trajectory of the inner thighs, of the thigh bones, and lengthening that and feeling a soft, subtle gathering in the outer hips. So it deepens the belly. It does not grip your bum. No ass clenching here. Not yet anyways. But a subtle lengthening of the inner leg and a gentle gathering of the outer leg. Sustain it. Breathe and touch bottom of the exhale. Pause. And pausing top of the inhale. Nothing too pushy, just feel the fullness and emptiness of your reality. Another one of my favorite quotes, not a Zen guy, but a Hindu guy. He said, when I remember that I am empty, I am wisdom. When I remember that I am full, I am love. And my work is to toggle between the two. Next, exhale, catch the blocks, draw the knees together, keep the blocks close by, really squeeze the knees together, peel the pinky edges of the feet off the floor, and then exhale, dive your knees towards your forehead and curl forehead towards knees. Pause, exhale, hold. Stay here, breathe in. The next time, exhale, hold the out breath as you lay your torso back down on the ground. And inhaling as you put the feet on the ground, stretch your legs long, punch through the heels, maybe point flex a couple of times, and then take the legs wide apart. Keep knees and toes pointing straight up to the sky, and sweep that left leg over to the right leg. Hug left leg into the right leg, land the left leg on the floor, and then cross your right ankle over it, and side bend torso to the right. I got hands behind head, either interlaced or stacked here. And then keep trying to like squeeze the legs more firmly together without clenching your bum. And that left hip is still flat, like left butt cheek heavy on the ground. Go ahead and exhale. Wrap that left elbow, shoulder a little bit up off the ground, and do little baby crunches like left nipple towards the toes. Keep the left elbow wide. And these little baby crunches, keep trying to invite the navel back and down. Keep trying to hollow the midline of the body. Keep it going. Let's say 5 more, 3 more, 2, and 1. Lay the body down, unbend torso, stretch arms long overhead. You could hook your thumbs here. Step the right leg off, take left leg wide. Both legs wide apart. Stretch from tail to fingers. And then sweep right leg over to the left. Squeeze it into the left. Really activate that inner leg. And then land the right leg on the ground, toes and knees pointing up. Left ankle crosses over right. And then side bend the torso to the left. Land, pause, feel. Letting go and engaging at the same time. All right, so we could morph that. When I let go, I know that I am wisdom. When I engage, I know that I am love. When I let go, I realize there is no attainment. When I engage, I understand no snowflake lands in the wrong place. Let's pulse right nipple towards toes for about 20 or so. Keep dropping the midline of the front body back, so from your breastbone to your pubic bone, carving like the hull of a canoe. And gently pulsing that outer right upper torso up and over and around. Carve it out. Let's say for like 3 more. Nope, let's do right now 3 more, 2 more, 1 more, and then down you come. Stretch arms long. Uncross the ankles. Both legs long, wide, full breath in, and then exhale, baby ball on your back. Pull it all in. And then catch the blocks again. Same place, outer knees. Mine can go on their second side now. Elbows wide. Once again, as if you could grow the inner thighs longer than the outer thighs. And then exhale. The blocks are going to fall flat when you bring your 2 knees together. Squeeze them, curl in, elbows and knees touch. And then landing again. The legs will catch the edge of the block. Press elbows back, arch the back, add the widening of the groins. And then baby ball. And again. Land, widen elbows, widen knees. The blocks are there to support, so you're not just pressing on the outer edge of your hip sockets. You're trying to gather the musculature of the outer legs. And then baby ball. Keep legs together, land the feet. Take the torso to the right as you now widen the elbows, little back arch. And then now when you curl up, elbows dive to the outside of the left knee and the knees come towards right shoulder. Land the feet, side bend torso to the left, then take elbows wide and arch the back. Elbows to the outer right knee, knees to left shoulder. And then side bend to the right when you land your feet. And then elbows to the left, knees to right shoulder, curl in. As you land the feet, side bend torso to the left. Little back bendy, side bendy. Breath in and then over to the outer right knee, elbows to left shoulder. Now keep the knees up there when you lower torso to the right this time. And then swing knees a little to the left. How far they go is up to you and your lumbar. And then you gather up, elbows dive to the outer left knee, knees to the right shoulder. There's a pattern here. Can you find it? Keep legs up, side bend torso to left. Take knees to the right, any amount. And then elbows go to the outer right knee. So one more set just like this. Side bend to right, knees go left. Curl up, elbows to outer left knee. Side bend to left. As you land, knees go right. And then back in the middle. Back in the middle. Emphasize the middle a few times, like little pulses here. And then land the feet on the floor. Move the blocks out of the way. Soles of feet together. Arms can be wherever you want them. I'm going to do up and wide. And then with soles of the feet together, push right heel into left heel. Feel what that does. Knees stay heavy. Push left heel into right heel. This, and then alternate. Right heel pushes, left heel pushes. This will swing your tail. It'll swing your pelvis right to left because we're turning on one hamstring at a time. You know, as you stomp one heel into the other, it turns on the back of that leg. And so, short story is little abduction, adduction of the legs, moving the pelvis. Pause in the middle. Inner feet like a hinge. Swing that right knee up and over to the left. Feet are now stacked. And can you now lengthen the outer right thigh? So you bring that whole right pelvic half around and a hollow belly, like you could build a little bird's nest in your low belly. Reopen the right knee, soles of feet together. Left leg makes its journey, inner feet like a hinge. And then like from the center of your sacrum, wrap that outer left hip over and send that outer left thigh over. So it's like really gathering the inner legs, low belly, very integrated in the front of the pelvis. And go left to right here a couple times. So people with SI joint dysfunction, one side's going to feel really important or really difficult, and that might be the important side. One side will feel maybe very easy. So whatever you have going on, everybody, please take good care and don't force your way through things that hurt. You could avoid the hurtful things, and there's a time for that. Or engage with the things that might be uncomfortable, like they're a puzzle. Try to figure them out. How could I do this without pain? And then therein is some therapeutic movement for you. Next time the left knee opens back out to the left, pause. And then bring the two legs right together. Feet are on the floor. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Stomp the feet into the floor and lift the hips up. and catch the edge of the blanket down by your hips. So if you curl your fingers under that edge of the blanket, you've got a bit of an anchor there. It's not the strongest anchor in the world, but let it inform you that you're not sliding or pushing your body. Because I'd like you to push the feet like you're trying to send the mat away from you. So it's a little effort to unbend the knees, or it's an effort to unbend the knees a little bit. Try to scoop the tail a little bit towards the knees and really squeeze the legs. Squeeze your legs together. So a gentle effort to straighten the legs. They won't straighten. You're just holding this sort of isometrically, hugging inner thighs and turning on the thigh muscles. La 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 la. It's a little bit shaky, quaky, quivery. And let's bring the hips back down. And with your legs right together, your feet right together, if from here you simply open the knees but don't bring your feet together, there's probably enough room to put a block on its skinny side between your 2 feet. So do that if it works. Otherwise, repeating the previous sequence, or maybe the blocks between your 2 feet. So this is a bigger ask of your inner thighs. Keeping the block between your feet. So this requires a little bit of a challenge for your brain, your kinesthetic capacity to work with the block in the same way we just did. So push right heel into block and then left heel. It's pretty different feelings. There's more distance between the 2 knees, quite honestly. Then right foot brings the block with it as you swing the right knee up, and the block's held between the 2 inner feet. And as you reach that right knee over to the left, it's a deeper twist, and there's a little more wrapping for the outer hip, and the knees are closer together than the feet because of the block. And then over to the other side, bring the block with you. Unless you're not using the block, then it's just similar, just like what we did before. It probably feels different because it's the second time. And what I'd like to do, a little add-on, so the next time, the knees are over to the left, arms are wide. Could you keep the block between your feet, really squeeze your knees together, float the feet with the block off the floor, and then swing the knees towards your left shoulder and up and over towards your right shoulder and down to the right side. Land the feet on the floor, open up left knee, bring block with you, right knee goes over, and again, circle. A third time. And then when you land the knees over to the right, if this is walking you down your mat, you got to scooch up. Swing the knees from the right side to the right shoulder, up and over, 3 circles to the left now. Still trying to have good control of the block. So the intelligence of the hugging of the legs has to travel all the way down to those 26 bones of the feet. And in theory, it's a very controlled, engaged, smooth movement. One more, I think, yeah? And then around. Let the knees be wide. Pause. And then flat feet to the floor. Catch the block, set it aside. And then from here, knees to armpits, soles of feet together. Curl your tail towards the ceiling, so a little pulse up of the hips. Pulse up of the hips and then shoot right leg up, left leg long. Left leg hovers. Soles of feet together, curl tail towards head, and then left leg up, right leg long. And repeat. Sound effects are optional. After left leg goes up, this last time, soles of feet together, pulse tail up. Now knees right together, pulse tail up, knees apart, pulse, knees together, pulse, knees apart, pulse, knees together, pulse. Keep going. Next time knees are apart, pause. Catch right ankle with right hand, maybe right foot. Plop left foot on the floor. And let the right leg stay abducted. It's over to the side. And in fact, pull it to the floor, right thigh to the floor. Your left butt will probably come off the ground. Unless you've got crazy open hips, and I know some of you are out there. Then start to extend left leg long. And there's this point where when you take left leg straight, the left butt's gonna land and the right knee floats. Let that happen. Go for the heaviest part to be your left thigh bone. So that means your quadriceps have to turn on to push the leg back, straightening the knee, and the hamstring has to turn on to move the leg back in space to extend the hip. Now some of you might need a transition to using a belt here. You can take right leg like happy baby, knees a little bit abducted. And I'm going to hold on to my inner foot. So my right hand is over the sole of my right foot. And then whatever you can do, I'm actually going to hold my heel. Whatever you can do towards Supta Padangusthasana 2. So that's that right leg straightening out to the side, up and out to the side. Using the belt might be a good alternative. Left thigh bone still the heaviest thing in theory. Try to make it a reality. Even heavier than your right butt cheek. So what would that take to make the left thigh bone heavier than your right butt cheek? It takes a lot actually. For me. From here, I just think this feels so damn good after all that. Bend left knee, bring right leg up, place right foot next to left foot, cross left knee over right knee. Not ankle to knee, and let the knees fall to the left. And if you can find your inner edge of your right foot's the only foot on the ground, the inner edge of your right big toe, sort of firm that into the ground. And I like to use that big toe as a pivot point to point and flex the right foot. So the heel, right heel, sort of pumping. And it's changing the tug. It's changing the line of pull on the right side waist and hip. Then right foot stays on floor, left knee comes in, hold the foot or the ankle, and pull that left knee way up by the left shoulder out to the side. Let that left thigh land on the floor. So your right butt cheek's probably peeled up off the ground. And then try to keep that left knee pinned there as you straighten the right leg. And there's a point at which the straightening of the right leg is going to float your left leg off the floor. Try to make it a reluctant floating. So you're resisting with the left leg, creating more tension, more length, more pull between the two legs. And then eventually it's like you try to make the right thigh bone the heaviest thing It requires so much concentration in the thigh muscles, so much sensitivity to, am I turning on the back of the leg? Right? These nuances are so freaking personal. They're so subtle and individual. It's hard to teach. I can only point at it. Left leg, happy baby. You might need to transition to the belt. I'm going to change the grip of my hand. I'm going to hold on to the heel. And then any amount you can straighten that left leg, and it's out to the side and aiming towards the level of your head. So it's not out to the side and away from you. It's not straight out to the side. It's up and out to the side. Any amount. It's still snowing. It's April 18th. And we got 4 fucking inches of snow. Pardon my French. Bend your 2 knees. Left foot on the floor. Right leg drapes over the left. But there is no attainment, right? So I'm just talking to myself here. Let it snow. Knees go to the right. Sure is beautiful. Okay, yogins, catch your block, rock yourself up, and place the block at the other end of your mat on its flat side, widthwise, so you can put both your heels on it. Cross the left ankle over the right ankle and press the heels into the block. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Press your heels into the block just so you feel a little lift under your pelvis. Don't lift your pelvis off the floor. Like, how much lift can you get and not clench your ass to do it? So I'm looking at hamstring engagement. We're going to work our glute muscles in other ways. But can you use your hamstrings here? Because if you bypass your hamstrings and go right to squeezing your butt, you're losing a possible boon here. Right? And then switch the cross of the legs. Press the right ankle down into the left heel down into the block, and not even floating your sacrum up high enough that your butt cheeks come off the floor, but they're definitely lighter and they're not gripped rock hard. Deep inside there's action. Right, do the right side again. Right ankle under left, lift. And then left ankle under right, lift. And then keep left ankle or left heel on the block. Put right foot on floor. The right foot is just an assist. Push your left heel into the block to feel the back of the left leg engage. And we're gonna lift the hips up off the floor now, and the right leg participates only as much as it has to. You really feel the left hamstring turn on, but not your glutes yet. Don't use those yet. Use your hamstring, and the right leg is just helping to assure that happens. Keep it turned on, breathe in big, and then as you exhale, land the pelvis, curl up, try to touch your forehead and your knee together. You could use your right leg to help you here. Don't use your hands. And then back down again. Just enough support of the right leg to keep it clean, a clean lift of the pelvis off the mat, hamstring doing the work, and then land the pelvis, forehead and left knees. Uno más. This time, catch a hold of your left leg. Watch yourself do it. Straighten your right leg out and land it just up against the side of that block. And then you might need to transition to using your belt here as you bring your left leg with you, lowering head and shoulders down onto the ground. So use your belt if you need it. Get a nice snug grip and micro bend knee. Deeply flex the ankle and the hip, and then re-extend the back of that leg. Tiny pulses. Now put the belt or the foot in your right hand, and left hand acts like a bracket. You hook your thumb in the left hip crease and push the left hip away from you. Tip the left leg to the right about 4 to 6 to 8 inches. But can you keep your left SI joint on the floor? Left pelvic half heavy. And when you're ready, OMG, put left foot on the floor, right heel on the block. 3 times, right leg pushes straight back, floating pelvis off the floor. Left leg helps only as much as necessary to channel the work into the hamstring. Lower your bum, curl up, no hands, forehead and knee, try to touch. Leg down, hips up. Left foot doing almost nothing, as much as necessary, as little as possible. That's sort of my mantra right now. Thank you, Amy Matthews. Bring it up. Squeeze it in. Last time. Heel down, hips up. Curl it in. Catch a hold of the leg. Gently, lovingly invite it closer. Don't be pushy. Straighten left leg long. Watch yourself land it on the outer edge of that block. And if you need to grab the belt, do that now. Bring the leg with you as you lower your head and your shoulders down. And then micro bend the knee. Deeply dorsiflex the ankle and flex the hip. And then re-extend the knee. A couple times. Soup to P1. Left hand catches sole of the foot, or put the belt in your left hand. Right arm is like right side body lengthener as you shove with your right hand that hip, outer hip, towards the foot of your mat. And then the right leg comes across the midline, just enough to really open up that outer right leg. Okay, right foot on floor. Stretch right leg long, catch the block with the right foot, so both feet on either side of the block. Bring the knees in, bring the block with you. Curl in. Keep the torso curled up as you stretch your legs long. Let this bring you into a half boat. So you're squeezing the block with the legs, balancing on your sacrum. Can you go from half boat to full boat? Can you keep your full boat? Catch the block with your hand, set it aside. And then maybe Baya Prangustasana. Can you bring the hands and feet together? Lift way up. Heart up, chin up. And then take legs wide. hard up more. Notice how that gives you a little more room to tip your pubic bone down. And then from here, keep hold of the feet, bend the knees a lot. Bring the 2 feet right together on the floor in front of you. And if you can, no hands, use your hands if you need them, up and over for a little malasana hanging out business here. So inner edges of the feet are right together. My heels are not on the floor, but oh look, there's this handy blanket back here. You could just reach for that guy, fold a little corner of it under, and plop your heels right on that. How convenient. You might want a block for your head, whatever side it needs to be on, tall side, second side, flat side. And then press the hairline into the block, not hard, but just enough so you get some biofeedback in that the front body deepens. It might help to root the tail and the heels a little bit as the front body deepens. You could creep your hands way forward. And I got hardwood in front of me so I can sort of grip or tack or stick my hands to the hardwood and create a little tug tension there from the tail to the fingertips. And then we have from head to toe tips. Squeeze the knees into the sides of the torso. Exhale. Keep the belly lifted. Inhale, let the knees open and relax. Exhale, squeeze the knees into the side of the torso all the way to empty. Touch empty, gather the belly, deepen the pull in the throat. Inhale, let the knees widen. Unamas. Squeeze, breathe out, hold, deepen, hollow. This inhale, head up, knees down. Move the block, set it somewhere where it's reachable, and then simply move the blanket out of your way. Knees right together, toe pose here. And then with an exhale, you could use your hands on the sides of your hips and invite the sense of outer hips wrapping forward, especially that right outer hip as you twist open to the right. Left hand wraps around and holds the outer right hip as you reach the right arm behind you. So left hand is like pulling the right hip forward. Just a gesture, not a big action. As the right chest and torso open, reach back, spread the palm. Don't worry about your toes. And then switch. So right hand comes around and grabs outer left hip and is gesturing that outer left hip flesh to go forward as you open left arm palm from like the center of your sternum to your fingerprints back to the left. You guys keep going. I'm going to check our time. Halfway. We've come halfway. At this point, you could certainly rest and be done. Namaste. Thank you very much. Hands and knees. If you're staying with me, cat-cow. And in this fairly simple action here, take some time to land in the length of your fingers. Your fingerprints are the heaviest, not the tips of the fingers. Don't let your fingers curl up. That's not structurally sound. It might be interesting, but it's not going to be a good weight-bearing position. You want the full length of your fingers to really merge, melt, mash into the floor. And the knuckles where your fingers meet your hand, also very rooted. But the heels of the hands are like bubbly and buoyant and light, and you can adjust them. Next time you cat, right knee to forehead. And then when you cow, stretch the leg back. Pause here and cow, leg back and up. But now lift and gather your belly and try to take your right leg higher up behind you. Lift and gather the belly, and then right leg a little higher up, gazes forward. Swing the right knee over to the left. Look at it over at the left. tuck those left toes, right toes under, and then pump the heel again. Keep looking at that right foot, which is over to the left. And as you dig the heel back and the whole body gets pulled back, really curl around. Staying with the right leg. Weight on the left knee. Pick up the right toes. Can you bring the leg up and out like fire hydrant pose? And then touch outer right shoulder with it. I'm going to turn around so you can see. And then take it back over to the left. Punch the heel. Look at that right foot way over there to the left. Bring the weight forward. Swing the right leg out. Look to the right. Watch it touch your right shoulder. And then take it back over. A couple more. So we're going from extension and adduction and internal rotation to flexion, abduction, external rotation. And then last time, knee touches shoulder, knee touches forehead, cat pose, all fours down, cow, cat, cow, cat with left knee to forehead, cow with the left leg back and up. Now gather the front body, neutral spine, take left leg higher. Gather front body, neutral spine, take left leg higher. Gazes forward. Swing left leg over to the right. Look to the right, watch it go, tuck the toes under, pump that heel. And when you punch the heel back, more tug on the side body, curl your face towards it more. And I'm going to spin around, so again, the visual is there and I've got my original facing. So now we're going to toggle, I think 4 or 5 times, from extension, adduction, internal rotation. So you swing the knee out and over to the left, look to the left, flexion, external rotation, abduction. A few more. Touch knee to shoulder, cat pose, knee to forehead, all fours down, cow, cat, down dog. Any amount of pedaling through the feet. I haven't ever been a big fan of swinging a leg back before stepping it forward, because I feel like that momentum takes over and it's sort of cheating or bypassing, maybe is a better word. But we're going to do it today, but not with the bypass. So slow, like you're moving through honey. Take your right leg straight back and up. And then like the cat pose, knee to the forehead, swing your shoulders forward and step the right foot between your hands and immediately bring the hands up. Go up, back bend, any amount. Before we come down, you do the knee drop lunge. Don't touch the knee to the floor, but curl it under. Cat pose, curl the elbows in like the thinker, and then put the hands down. Down dog, left leg up. A breath. And like the knee to forehead cat, do it here in dog. Step foot between your hands and come on up. Party. Woohoo! Now remember all that hamstring work? We were turning on the hamstring. Do that now. Try to take the right thigh bone to the ceiling. And now use your left glute. Squeeze your left butt. And then we're gonna curl in, knee drop, curl in, don't fall over. Plant hands, left foot steps back, right leg up. You know the sequence now. Step, come on up. Left thigh going to ceiling. Curl it all in. Hands down, right foot steps, left leg up. Curl it all in. Hands down, back you go. And then take your time to walk your feet to your hands. Pause in your forward bend. Keep inviting the updraft of the navel to hollow the mid-torso, broadening the back. And bend your knees a lot. I don't care if your legs are right together or not. Keep the knees and toes sort of organized together. And then cat pose your spine. Try to put your kneecaps and your eyeball sockets together. Keep your hips low. Roll the torso up. Utkatasana. Stay low in the hips. Play with weight in the heels and then weight in the toes. And weight in the heels and weight in the toes. And weight in the heels and weight in the toes. And lifting the heels. Lift the knees, but don't lift your hips. Lift the heels, lift the knees. Lift the heels, lift the knees. Then straighten your legs. Keep your heels lifted. Knees lifted. Tiptoe. Up you go. And then as the hands come to prayer, soften heels, soften knees. Step left foot back, turn to the left. Face the side of your mat, but your right toes stay in their original facing. Vira 2. Take your time to organize your stance or fix your pants. Oh, that's me. And take a look at your left foot and really invite the bones of the foot to super spiral. So that outer foot trying to be the heaviest point. Do your best to stack right knee over heel. And then let's do elbow to knee first. And with left arm long to the left and a little bit behind you, as if there was a ball or a fountain or something you wanted to sort of push down to the floor. Look to your right toes. And then maybe bending that left elbow and tucking the left hand to the inside of your right groin. A half bind. Right hand can go to right ankle then. Pause here. Keep moving right knee and left heel or the two inner thighs away from each other. Can you keep left hand where it is? Put right hand on the floor to the outside of the right foot. You might need your block. And then can you pick up or waggle right foot over to the left? Now my left hand isn't tucked in the groin anymore, but it's behind me. And then using belly strength, turn onto left toes, turn torso flat to face the floor. Then left hand comes down. Then right leg steps back. Maybe you're in the mood for both dogs. Maybe you want nothing more than to sit down and sigh heavily. Whatever you need. Down dog. Feet, hands, you can travel by land or by air. Inhale, extend the spine halfway, creep the weight forward so the hips come forward. And as you fold, keep leaning forward. Can you ride the outer feet a little bit more than the inner feet? And then bend your knees a lot, put your kneecaps in your eyeball sockets. Roll the torso up, weight in the heels, weight in the toes, lift the heels, keep your hips low, lift the knees, lift the heels, lift the knees, lift the heels, lift the whole body, reach up, hands to prayer, soften knees, lower heels, step right foot back to the right. Same deal, second side, get your stance, get clear about your stance. Outer right foot being the heaviest. Don't fall over. That's my job. Left elbow to knee. And that right arm long out to the side, down towards the body, a little behind you, and it's adducting the arm, shoulder extension. Go as far as you can, then you bend the elbow and try to catch inner left thigh. It's the half bind, and then take the left hand down. The gaze is towards the left toes to maximize the spread across the neck and shoulder. Now this transition is tricky, so the block on its flat side may very well help you. You know, if you got some chops, you could be on your fingertips until you sort of get the left foot out of your way. As you waggle left foot to the right hand stays tucked. Right, and then that whole right side is gonna fold over towards the mat. So ball of right foot, right leg's in neutral. We made a similar shape to this on our backs, remember? Right hand comes down. Left leg finds plank pose. You decide what you want to do from here. We'll meet in down dog. Right leg sweeps back and up. Now turn open the pelvis. So navel shines to the right. And you could either do a bent right knee or a straight right leg. Swing it in front of you. You're going to circumduct around under you and then cross it over your left shin. Feet are sort of side by side. Pinky toes may be touching. Left leg goes back and up. And then turn the pelvis open. Then swing the leg up and over and around and cross in front of your left shin. I figured it's snowing, maybe we could go ice skating, to borrow from one of my friends and colleagues, Dan Boyne. Left leg goes up. So we're ice skating. Sound effects are optional. This time, right foot flying through the air. Can you step it way up and over to the outside of your right hand? My foot's off my mat. Spin left heel flat. And step the right hand to the outside of the right foot. And then bring the left arm up. So your torso's way back. Make it a back bending. So it's like one of those Anusara Trikonasanas from forever ago where every pose is a frickin' back bend. Make this a back bend, just for today. So outer left heel really spikes down and try to find the reciprocal call action of an opening in the front of your left hip. Now listen carefully from here. Left hand goes, well, let's just build back to down dog. So put your two hands down, step right foot back, cross it over the left leg up, ice skating, and then step it way up into the outside of your left hand. Spin right heel flat, step left hand to the outside of your left foot, and then back bendy triangle. In your mind, and maybe in reality, the front of your right hip is sort of the furthest point in front of you. If you can send it past your right toes and stomp down into the back of that right heel. Back of the right heel will help to open the front of the pelvis. La, 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 it's still snowing. And both hands down, left shin crosses right shin. Right leg up, over and around, same deal. Spin left heel flat. This time you could bend the right knee, step the hand once again behind, and now back bendy side angle. This is the time where we're going to add on. Left hand comes to the floor in its usual position. Come to the ball mound of the left foot. So this is not a simple or a beginner move. Vinyasa 2. Can you catch your right foot with your right hand and swing that leg up and come on to the outer left foot all at once? And if the answer is no, then simply stack the right leg on the left. To dismantle, right hand down, cross left shin, right shin in front of left. Whoosh, skating, left leg up and over. Step it to the outside of your left hand. Spin the right heel flat, left knee bent. Left hand to the outside of your left foot, still really open, really open. Sha, sha, sha. Love, 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 love. Right hand comes down to the mat. Ball mound of right foot. Left hand catches left foot. Ta-da! Then left shin crosses in front of right as the left hand comes down, and again. This time simply step right foot to the right hand, catching the right foot, swing it up. You could add the standing pose if you want instead of this. Now see if you can bring right hand and right foot to the floor at the same time, crossing over. Left leg up and around and down. Organize yourself for side plank. 2, Vinyasa 2. And then the test and the challenge to place both left limbs on the floor at the same time. Normal dog, plank pose, chaturanga, and carry on. Okay, I'm gonna pause. Knees down. Whew. There's nothing to attain here. It's just feeling, moving, inquiring. Feeling, inquiring, moving, inquiring, feeling, inquiring. What is happening? Down dog. Simple step right foot forward. Have the two hands on the inside. Elbows down. If you need to put a block under your elbows, go for that. Work right knee and left heel away from each other. And keep the right knee from splaying terribly. Little splay is fine. Left hand on the floor. Elbow bent. And then can you catch the right heel with your right hand and try to tuck your shoulder underneath the back of the knee. So both hands are sort of like chaturanga, right? And then look forward. Look forward any amount. Can you catch the knee with the shoulder and bring the foot up while you look forward? And flirt with the idea of straightening that right leg. Ha. Step it back, down dog. Left foot steps. If you want the flow in between, better hurry up. Both elbows down. You could certainly stay with the 2 elbows down and not go any further. Or like push-up arms, sort of, with the left shoulder significantly wedged under that left knee. And with your 2 hands down, try to look forward, heart forward, so much that it brings the left foot up, and try to punch that heel forward. Down dog. I'm going to bring knees down, cow. Knees, chest, chin. Booty up, chest down, gaze forward. Elbows back. Tuck toes under, slide. Feet back, cobra. Big ass cobra. Tuck toes under, up dog. Roll over toes, and then roll over toes back to down dog. Same beginning, different ending. Right foot steps forward to the outside of the right hand, or bring both hands to the inside. Wedge shoulder under knee. And then can you reach that right arm around behind you? And maybe put the back of the right hand on the back of your pelvis. Now you really have to hug the feet into each other here to get your left hand off the floor. And maybe you can catch your 2 hands. Bound lunge. Okay, I'm undoing into Vashisthasana 2. Left hand down, catch right foot, up you come. Lowering the right foot, can the right hand and the foot touch the floor at the same time? Down dog. Left foot steps forward, both hands to the inside. Without your butt swinging way to the left, and you keep that left butt cheek hugged in towards the inner right thigh. Tuck the shoulder under. If your butt swings, you're a little screwed, right? You can't do this as well. So you have to hug that midline. Bring left arm under and around, back of the hand onto the back of your pelvis. Now really hug left sit bone to inner right thigh to left sit bone as you catch the 2 hands together behind you. Any amount you can look forward. Right hand down, catch outer left foot, Vashisthasana 2. Tricky, tricky. And then can both left limbs land at the same time. One more time, adding on. Right foot steps forward, both hands to the inside. Get your right shoulder under right knee and clasp your hands if you can behind you. If you cannot, don't clasp. We're all going to step the left foot forward and then come to stand on your left leg. Those of you who didn't bind, I'm going to turn towards the camera. Hopefully I don't wipe out. Do over. You guys know what to do. Straighten your right leg. Maybe if I don't try to turn, I can do it. Straighten your right leg. What I vote here is that you bend, release, soft chair pose, mountain pose. You choose how you want to arrive in down dog. However you want to get there, we'll meet there. Left foot steps forward, left shoulder under, go for the bind. Because I was falling on the first side, I didn't have a chance to tell the non-binders what to do. So we'll all meet in standing. I'm not going to try to turn on this side because that's what wiped me out. If you're not binding, it's Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana 2. If you're not binding, you're simply holding the foot and taking the second phase of Utthita Hasta 2. Meet in your soft chair. And then we'll meet in down dog. However you want to get there, I'm going to check the time. Oh wait, doing good, gang. From down dog, wide kneed child's pose. Big toes together, knees wide, torso forward. You could stretch your arms long if you like. If you're not very close to the ground, that's a helpful thing. If you're really close to the ground, you could stack your two hands under your forehead with your elbows wide. Sometimes I like to simply gather my forearms under my chest and snuggle in here. Snuggle, snuggle. Pause. So much harder to do and talk the whole damn time. That's why Zoom classes are coming, people. Okay, torso up. I'm curious. Okay, so some of you might need your blanket, right? It's still snowing. You might need to tuck a blanket under your pelvis. I'd like to free the right leg and have the left leg stay in the Virasana shape. So it's like internally rotated now. If this hurts your knee, simply bring the leg into a more classic Janu Shirshasana. Otherwise, if you can deal with the internal rotation, the knee might feel differently if you adjust the foot differently. Ideally, you've got your toenails to the floor. At least the first 2 or 3 toenails are on the floor. And then turn towards the right leg and come on into a variation of Janu Shirshasana. There might be a tendency for that right leg to roll open. Don't let it. So invite internal rotation for the right leg too, simply to keep it in neutral. You might pull up any extra belly material and slide it to the right as you fold over that right leg. Because then what I like to do is little Crouchasana. So you could stay in the forward fold on the ground. Or if you like, the 2 knees come towards each other. So one leg straight out, one leg in the Virasana. Or you could have the Janu Shirshasana leg. Right? And then bending right knee, right foot on ground, go ahead and hug right knee and sit tall. This might be plenty. Or you could hold interlaced arms or folded arms under the knee. And then using the support of the arms to play with how much you can straighten the leg. And so even if you're like holding the right leg really far away from you and simply trying to find a straight knee. This is good work. There's nothing to be gained from really doing what we perceive as the full expression of the pose. This work along the way is your pose. No snowflake lands in the wrong place. From here, from your Crouchasana, put right foot on floor, and then can you spin on your bum to turn the left knee open? So now the left leg is a Janu Shirshasana leg. And let's put the right knee behind the shoulder again. We were doing this before. So left hand can hold the right foot, and the right arm goes out like a kickstand to the right. Left hand like a kickstand to the left, and then trying to straighten that right leg. Compass pose, you could bind the arms behind. So it's a seated version of where we were not too long ago. And then releasing both legs out in front of you, Dandasana. And Dandasana might be enough to cleanse your palate. If Dandasana doesn't quite do it for you, maybe the Purvottasana tabletop to unfold a bit. Purvottasana 1. And then tucking the right leg into the Virasana, the internally rotated back leg for Janu Shirshasana. You could flip the right leg into external and put it in front of you if you like. But I'm using this sort of as a counter pose to all of the external rotation we were doing. Coming on over that left leg, whatever degree you have to come on over to it. And then it's really an easy thing to do to not engage the legs. The harder thing to do is to keep those muscles turned on. This is a yang practice, so let's make it bloodful and muscly. Very different from yin. Lots of movement, lots of building, lots of heat, especially if your room is hot like mine. Come on up. Draw the two knees towards each other. If you need to change the shape of the right leg, do it. And then bend that left knee in, hug it in. Whether you've got the arms folded over the shin or under the shin. And under the shin gives you this handy support for working the action of the leg. So gravity is against us here, it's not for us, right? And if you know the pose, you can climb right up into it, otherwise working the straightening of the leg. And this is my tighter side, so once I get into it, old school, like left hand holding right wrist here over the left foot, I'm doing those micro knee bends that we did on our back a while ago, good hour or more ago. And then from here, you could do this fun thing where you tuck the left shoulder under the left knee, put your hands down, and then float the right foot under you, and then go towards your compass. The seated version of what we did, whether you actually hold the foot with your right hand or clasp your hands behind you, whatever you choose. Okay. Undo. Come to lay on your block. On your back and grab your block. Come to lay on your back and grab your block. Have your block handy and take the feet wide, knees are bent, and the two knees are together. Pause. Ooh-wee. Actually, let's use both of our blocks. And what I'd like to do here We're gonna do a bridge pose with our bum on our blocks. Tall side if you can. But you make a V shape with your blocks. Like they're gonna be on their tall side, but they're gonna be making a V shape. So when you tuck them under your butt, could you have the blocks so that they're sort of framing the sacrum? Wait, they're gonna be like this, underneath you. So you make them into a V shape so that they come together towards your tail and they're wider apart at the top of your sacrum. So it certainly would be easier, simpler to just do one block. That's fine. So when you take your hips up, you can envision with the blocks in front of you how they're gonna land. So then it's like one block under the right butt cheek, angled towards the tip of the tail. Left block under your left butt cheek, angled towards the tip of the tail. And then you can use your fingers and feel how symmetrical the blocks are. You can feel with your butt flesh how symmetrical the blocks are. And my SI joints are actually barely on the blocks. Barely. So this is to like drop the sacrum back after all the external rotating we were doing, sort of bringing the sacrum forward into the body. This is a counter pose, in theory, to all of that. Hopefully you can work it out. If you can't, just one block under your sacrum, fine. I'm going to catch the sides of my mat with my fingers, and then with my feet on the mat, creating a tension, feet sliding the mat long away from me, hands a tiny tug of the mat up towards me. So I've got some traction by which to stretch my legs straighter and straighter. Now, heels to the floor is going to be easier, so you could dorsiflex the feet and send the toes to the sky. Soles of the feet on the floor is much harder, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try. This is hard for me. Belly dropping, hollow that belly. Ideally, shoulders on the floor, not any of your spine is on the floor at all. And then you could bring one knee in and work one leg up. And certainly bending the bottom leg knee in the gesture of straightening the top leg is great. Legit. Switch sides at your leisure. Now with the two blocks, I get a really beautiful felt sense of not only the two pelvic halves doing their things with the legs, but how the block supports them. So the blocks sort of follow the weight of the pelvic half. So down leg pelvic half, the sit bone's really supported. And the top leg pelvic half, like the upper portion of the pelvis, is really supported. The pelvis isn't just one big chunk of bone, it's two bones. And with 4 joints between them. 2 SI joints and 2 pubic symphysis joints. Same deal. Maybe both legs up. Might have to adjust the blocks, do that. And let the blood fall, pour, rinse from the legs to the pelvic belly, to the heart, to the brainstem. The way the snow falls so silently on the earth on April 18th. Like, let the mind rest on the felt sense of your experience and that very light, way of landing there. Your exit strategy from here is yours. You could bend knees, put feet on floor. Or you could let the knees sort of fall to your chest and the blocks slowly slide out, slowly pull them out. And then maybe landing with feet on floor, knees bent, knees knocked together. Or you could go straight to Shavasana. I'm going to use the blocks, and sort of like we did in Baddha Konasana, blocks on their edge, on the cutting edge, and catching the outer thighs in a way that it creates a little internal rotation of the inner thighs. My knees are soft, so it's sort of like you got a blanket roll behind your knees, but they're turned in by the face of the block. And you can rest hands on belly or hand on heart, hand on belly, hands on body anywhere, or out to the side. And then letting your parts land. No snowflake lands in the wrong place. No part of you lands in the wrong place. There's nothing haphazard about this life. There's a divine order. And ours is simply to let it unfold and to engage with it in ways that bring the most benefit for the most people, for the most beings. Including you. Rest well. I'll be going sledding later. Thank you. I love you.